Ladies and gentlemen, Todd McFarlane.
All right. Okay. No. Guys. Gee, I mean, it's like Johnny Carson. Okay, we're here today because we've got a big group of people out here that collect comic books, that have been collecting comic books for a lot of years. I collect for a lot of years. I get to now draw them professionally, which is a great living. But we're going to try and give you a little bit of insight into why we do what we do. I think a lot of people are always stunned when they hear the prices of baseball cards, what they went for, and stamps and paintings, and they don't quite get it, even though they might collect like pigs or something like that. And we don't quite get why you guys collect pigs. But we're gonna tell you why we do what we do, how we do what we do, open it up to the audience, and we're going to share our thoughts on why comic books is the greatest business out there right now. The character that we're doing right now is called Spawn. We got a big placard up there. Character I designed 15 years ago, roughly 1979, 1980. I created him, put him in my portfolio, and never pulled him out. Now, I know all you guys out here that are future artist wannabes, you guys have got like reams of notepads that have your drawings on it, right? Don't tell me you haven't created like about 200 characters. Well, I used to do the exact same thing, and when I put them in my portfolio, I just never pulled them out. While I was working in Marvel comic books and DC comic books, I didn't feel that the system was set up such that I felt all that energetic to like create stuff and give it to people and let them own all the rights and the copyrights. One of the reasons why Image Comics exists today is because some of the artists are trying to take back what we feel is ours, and you know, we feel that we're a little bit bigger part of the package than the big system and the companies want. Let's go over some of the, like a how-to. Well, probably the 2 or 3 questions I get asked more than anything else, and you guys are always asking it. All you guys is it sometime you guys want to break into comic books. You know, either as, writing, as coloring, as lettering, as inking, whatever. And people always say, how do you break into comic books? Well, I'm going to give you how I broke into comic books, how I think you can break into comic books. That's only my opinion. There's 5,000 other guys that are doing comic books. You should go get their opinion because they've got another story and whatever else. I started sending samples off when I was going to college. And when I was going to college, I would send off like about 75 packages a month. And what I would do is I'd make a big chart because I was real psychotic. And I made a chart on who sent me back replies. Good, bad, or indifferent. I didn't care. See, the guy who goes, I sent off a sample and I got a rejection letter. Buddy, I got a sack. I'm telling you guys, a sack at home that's got over 300 rejection letters. And it goes, you aren't very good. You'll never be in the comic book. Sign, John Byrne. Wow, I got John Byrne's autograph. Oh, Terry, I got more autographs that say, you suck, Todd. Then I'll go, oh, cool. I just like cut out the letter and I got like their autograph. But it's an easy way to get autographs, sending off samples. But you got to be diligent. It took me a year and a half. I know some guys, there's some guys like Art Adams that were so talented at the beginning, got in like in months. But the average guy takes like a year to 3 years to break in. Comic books is no different than any other occupation. You just got to beat the pavement. You got to tell them why they should hire you, give them all the reasons why they should hire you, and just keep coming back in their face. I honestly believe that they hired me because 800 packages later, they got sick of my packages. And they go, instead of 75 packages a month, give the kid a job. We only get 1 package a month. You know what I mean? I think I was just so much a pest. They just gave me a job because when I got my first job at Marvel Comic Books, I'm drawing, and I tell people, send your samples to every single editor in the business. And the reason is you only got to find one guy that'll give you a job, right? The process, the rundown of doing a comic books, just to break it down, is you have a writer, you have a penciler, you have an inker, you have a colorist, you have a letterer, and you have an editor. You mix all those people together, you get a comic book. If you look at the credits, on the inside of the comic books, if you look at the credits, that's who they generally list. Now, some people do more than one job. I do 3 jobs. I write, pencil, and ink, so the list of credits is a little bit smaller in our book. But what you're going to do, the average comic book goes something like this. You come up with the story. So you're doing Rutabaga Man. Okay, so the writer sits down and he comes up with a plot for Rutabaga Man. Okay, now the plot can consist of anything from 1 page to 5 or 10 pages, and all it is a general outline of what we do. So I take the plot and I go, oh, okay, Johnny comes in the door, says hi to his grandma, and sits down on the couch. I think I can make that 1 page. So, and what I usually did is I would get like 4 or 5 page plots, and because we need a 22-page comic book, then I just kind of ticked off at the bottom of each page that I had to be at page 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and then wrap it up on the last half a page, and I generally got through 22 pages. After the plot's done, and they give me because I was a penciler, they give me a rough idea what the story's all about. They don't do the dialogue, they just give you a rough idea. Once they give it back to me as a penciler, I've got to like put pictures to this. And this is where, as the artist, you actually get to like put the pressure back on them. The plot puts the pressure on you. When you do the drawing, you put the pressure back on them. So you give a writer 9 panels. That's those little boxes on each page. You give them 9 panels, they're going to write in every one of those 9 panels. You give them 2, and they somehow seem to write the book in 2 panels. So I just started going, I'm only going to give them 3 panels. I'll make one of them real big just because I like to draw big panels. I was getting tired of drawing small stuff. But after I break it down, we send it back, when I've got all the drawings, we send it back to the writer who gave me the plot in the first place. He will now look at my drawings and go, okay, I'm going to put this in their mouth and this and this. He had a rough idea what he was going to put, but what he can do now is if I had somebody saying, please pass the tea, and they were going, then hopefully they put something real happy in it, you know, because otherwise I wasted my time drawing a smile. If you do a scowl, or if you show somebody standing there like this where the body English comes in, then hopefully the writer will pick up on that and will write something that's appropriate to what you drew. After the writer writes the books for my drawings or any other artist's drawings, they type up a script with all the words, not unlike what a movie script would look like. They then send the drawing pages and they send the script to the letterer. Now the letterer is the guy who does the word balloons, and that's another whole specific category, that there's guys that literally just do the lettering on it. They put in those word balloons and the sound effects and everything else. We get the sound effects. I get the pages back, or somebody that's inking it. I now have a page with drawings and word balloons. I get my ink. I go in there. I ink over the pencils. I make it a finished black and white product, and then we send it to the colorist. They make color seps, and they do it on Xeroxes. They ship it all off to the printer, and lo and behold, you've got 500,000 comic books printed up, and they're all over the place. So they get them across the country. I mean, right now we're in I think in 12 countries right now, and I'm sure Marvel and DC are even more than that. That the process works. It's not as complicated as it sounds. It actually works pretty smoothly. The paper size that we use is 10 by 15. So for any of you guys out there who want to break in doing artwork, we use 10 by 15. If you're an artist, then you want to do what we call plot synopsis. Don't write a script, just write like a 1-page story about something, and then when you're handing that to editors, because the editors are the ones who give you the jobs, they're going to look at that, and they want something they can read like in 5 seconds. They don't want like a 3-page thing because they don't have time to read 3 pages right there on the spot. So give them something short, and if they like what they see short, they'll usually ask you to expand on it. If you're an inker, the 2 things that we do inking is you either use a brush or you use a pen. And right now, a pen seems to be pretty popular amongst some of the young kids right now. But the pens that we use, I'll just do a big diagram here. Hopefully we can get it on the screen here. The pens that we use are these little fountain pens. You know, you dip into the inkwells, and they're the ones that kind of look like a little teardrop like this. And then they have like a little feather line in here. And here's the holder, and here's the pen tip right here. The pain in the rear at that is that, I mean, you draw 2 lines, you got to dip. You draw 2 lines, you got to dip. But you can get a real fine line with those things right there. The other tool that they use is just your standard sable brush. And the sable brush, there's a lot of guys still use a sable brush. I've never been able to conquer that, so I've always been amazed at the guys that can handle the brush as well as the pin. The pin will give you a line this thin, or will give you a line this thick from this same tool right here, which is why I like to use it so that I can vary my weights and never have to switch it. Lettering, when they letter, they use speedball tips, which are almost the same thing, but they got little nibs like that. So if you're into doing lettering or sound effects, then get some speedball tips, and that's how that works right there. When we finally get the whole package put together, then besides getting the package together, we got to put something down there that we think is going to sell, because if we don't sell comic books and you guys don't buy comic books, then everybody's out of business. So some of the thing that goes behind it is, well, what are we going to put inside those pages? That's why I like to draw big stuff. I always tell people, I can't teach you a style. It's the toughest thing in the world. I can't teach you really to draw better, because they would tell me how to draw like Michelangelo. And I can't draw like Michelangelo, so I'm not going to tell anybody how to draw like Michelangelo. The only thing you can do is, when you're doing bodies, that there's a few samples and a few simple rules that you can follow. And once you run some of the anatomy down like this looks like a big W right here, okay? Well, that W right there is the rule that you use for doing the chest. And as long as you say, here's the chest here, here's the collarbone, here's the biceps, this would be the shoulder, here would be the biceps here, here's the other shoulder, here comes the biceps here. The chest muscles right here always run into the biceps right here, always. I mean, look at your arms, look at my arms right here. This line here will run right into my chest. And the only reason I say pay attention to the W rule is because when you lift your hand and you move your hand, and that's what makes comic books cool, and you move them all around, that I can now take that W and I can make it like this and like this. And that means he's got his arm raised, but I know that this is still the bicep, which is the same line here. And here's the shoulder, and here's this. And I still got the shoulder and the other bicep right here. And it runs, and like here would be his rib cage here, and then his belly down in here. But that same flow works there, because one of the problems that I find a lot of young people have when they're doing their samples is that they stick anatomy, like it looks like it just got stuck and it's not in the right place. So if you can tie something together there, if you're doing legs, you can run the legs together with muscles. You know, like if you look at your own leg, you'll see that like the inside muscle right before the kneecap is lower than the outside one. So when we draw like legs, I don't know if we can get a close-up of this here, but if here's the kneecap here, if I make this low, then I know that's the inside, so I'll make this one a little bit higher up in here, and this goes into the groin area, and then we come in here with the calf up in here. And it's just a matter of, for the most part, just running everything kind of into each other. We also like to put like posters and comic books and any other kind of gimmicky stuff right now seems to be kind of hot. Some of it's not even gimmicks. Jim Valentino just did the cover of the Shadowhawk. You guys get the chance to see that? So to me, that's not a gimmick, because it's not forcing you to buy more than one copy. It's just one cool cover, you know? I don't mind guys that want to use Dayglow, fold-out gate covers. There's not like 8 parts to it. When we did the Spider-Man, you know, some of the people marketing did multiples of it. I'm not really all that excited about it. But some people like to collect all the variations. They get like a black cover and a green cover and a gold cover, and that will be the exact same comic book for the most part, except for something small, sometimes big, will be different, and they've got all the variations that are in the comic book. The other thing that I have people come up to me and say is, like they'll see like Spawn #1, and it's got like 1, and it says May 1 on there. The one is the first issue, right? Now, we've been collecting for a while, so we know that, okay? But some people haven't been collecting, are somewhat confused. They think that it came out on May 1st. And then, like, of course, the June 2 book, they think it came out on June 2nd, and so on. And so, you know, until you get to, like, issue 32, and then they're stumped, you know? How can it be 32 days in a month? No. That's why you've got issues like Batman that are up over 500, Superman that are over 500, other books that are in their hundreds, and stuff like that. It's just a way for us to tell you whether you missed a book if you want to collect them all in sequence or whatever you're doing with that. Some of the other things we do, we buy the backing boards. We preserve our comic books. I'm sure most of you guys here will preserve your comic book. I think there's various reasons why we do that. Some for value, some just because we want to keep them around for a while, and some we want to give to our kids. I mean, there's 100 reasons why. Some people collect more to speculate. I don't think speculating is a bad thing. And some people collect just for the sake of collecting, and they bend up their comic book and they ram it in their back pocket. That's cool too. It's not for me, or I don't think anybody else to tell you what to do with your comic books. When you guys plunk down your money, you guys should be entitled to do whatever you want with that comic book and get whatever satisfaction that you need out of that. I think right now what we could do is, I think some of the viewers out there would probably, I'd like to bring up some of the people from the audience up here to the podium. We can bring you guys into this. I think they'd like to get more of a sense of like why you guys are collecting right now. Somebody come up to this podium right here and like tell me like what it is and why it is that you guys like are into comic books. If you don't come to the podium, I'm going to pull you out and you're going to have to answer anyway. I just like to get a little bit of an insight and share with the camera a bit. Basically, what do you get out of comic books? I think that would answer a lot of questions like why are you even here in the first place? And your answer is correct because it's right for you. So what's your name?
AJ.
AJ?
Frey.
Okay. Give me, why are you here today?
I enjoy comic books. I've been collecting for about 5 years, and ever since I was a little kid, I've been in like Superman and stuff, and watching Super Friends on TV and stuff, the cartoon. And
so you felt it was you were exposed to it on animation and just kind of was an extension to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question here. Okay, I'm a big kid. Okay. Now my wife's a biology teacher, and she doesn't quite get like when she comes home at the end of the day from teaching that I did like this page right here. Okay. I don't know if we can get the camera on this page right here. This is the Violator. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, he's cool. Do you like those monsters?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, how old are you anyway?
16.
16. Let me ask you a question. We got a problem sometimes with moms and dads and censorship and stuff like that. You know, too much violence. I'm one of those guys who will argue to the death that just doesn't work. You know what? You're 16. I bet you when you were, so I can get this kid right here. Actually, yeah, let's get this kid right here. You come up to the podium right here, bud. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex? How old are you, Alex?
I'm 11.
Okay, you stuttered on that one. 11, that's perfect. Okay, 11's even better than 16. See this guy right here? He's a 7-foot iguana monster that goes around killing mafia dudes, right? As an 11-year-old, please answer this to the nation. Do you think that guy exists out there? Did we get a close-up? I hope we got a close-up of that head nod. Does he make you want to go out there and like rip people's hearts out?
No.
But he's cool, right?
Yeah.
You know what, moms and dads, I'm sorry, but see, when Bugs Bunny pulls the trigger on Elmer Fudd and blows his heads up, they know that's a cartoon. When they see a giant 7-foot monster, they know it's a comic book. And when they go see the movie Aliens, they know it's not real in their mind, you know. And I wish that some of the adults out there would give the kids a little more credit that they actually know what's real and what's not real. And comic books aren't really destroying this country. Okay, thanks, bud. Come on up. Give me some insight into comic books. Your name, sir?
I'm Salim.
Salim.
Yes.
Good to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too. I've been drawing ever since I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
But I wasn't drawing any fantasy characters. I draw things like things I saw, like maybe Robotech or Voltron or something. And then ever since I saw comic books and started collecting them, I decided that I wanted to try to draw for a comic book company. I wanted to know how did you get started in drawing, and where did you get your imagination drawing?
Okay, here, let me just give you the little spiel, and you're going to go ask some other people here at the convention. They're going to tell you the exact opposite. So that's okay, because I'm just giving you my opinion. learn to draw from comic books. That gives people a heart attack. You know what I mean? They all say, learn to life, learn from life, learn from life. Forget it. That's just my opinion. Forget it. You know why? Because you know what makes comic books the coolest? Stuff that's not real, okay? Now, when you pick up a comic book that you like, the little 11-year-old right here, he likes this comic book. He doesn't sit there and pick that thing open and go, those are incredibly well-detailed bricks on that building, you know? Look at the detail of that fawn and that fawning in that tree, and look at the gate railing, and look at that exquisite Italian architecture. No, you know what they go? Oh my gosh, look at that bazooka that weighs 9,000 pounds. Look at that violator that's got fangs out to here and a tongue down to here. Oh my gosh, look at that guy getting blown through that window out of a spaceship. The things that make comic books cool, superhero comic books, not some of the other stuff, superhero comic books are not taken from life, okay? But you know what? If you can just draw a cool Superman and bad trees, you got a job. You draw great bushes and a bad Superman, I'm sorry, you're not in this business, because we're here to like get in your face. And I mean, I've yet to have somebody come up to me and go, Todd, I love those Buick 57s. You know, I don't care about the cars. They care about that Spawn character coming up there with the cape that's 97 feet long. I mean, that's not natural. You know, look at this one with him jumping down. Get a close-up of this one behind me here. That's not natural clothing. But you know what? That looks cool. I'm sorry to say. It's flowing. It looks like wings. I mean, what, you know, something's happening there. So comic books also inspire you to draw more. You can go into either art school, you can go into a tech school. I always tell people go into tech school because they teach you practical stuff. You can come out, if you don't get into comic books, you can do, you've got a degree that like lines you up for stuff. Anything to prompt somebody to take on a vocation or a job, I also think, Mom, Dad, that's good, you know? And if we're prompting them in any way to say, yeah, I want to be a writer, I want to learn to write better, I think that's good. So thanks. And we're going to have our last little guest, little Johnny Pumpkinhead. Come on up here. Now, do we got a camera on him? What's your name?
Mike.
Mike?
Yeah.
I think this guy likes comic books. Look at this hat. This guy's hat weighs more than my daughter right now. So that's cool. And he's got 3 image buttons. I don't see this. Oh, and a Spawn button. Oh, he's got the. Oh, and he's got Spawn button. This kid's cool. Okay. Now, tell me why you're here.
Okay, well, I got started.
How old are you anyway? Excuse me.
I'm 13.
13. Perfect.
Yeah. I got started about a year and a half ago, and my best friend, he was like totally into it, and he's like trying to get me into it. I'm all, yeah. All I like baseball cards.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So then finally he like keeps bugging me enough, and then I buy a comic, you know, buy 2, you know, then it just keeps spreading. It started in the Spider-Mans, and then.
So you're a comic book junkie is what you're telling me right now.
Yeah, I got
You're hooked right now.
Yeah.
Where do you kids get your money? I mean, I'm seeing kids. I mean, you guys got bigger bills than I do. Coming like, where are you guys getting your money from? I mean, my book's $1.95. That's not cheap. The average comic book's around $1.25 to $2 right now. If you collect 10 or 20, I mean, you're up to 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks in a month. Yeah, I gotta know this question. Where do you guys get that cash from? Is there just a lot of generous moms and dads out there? Right?
Well,
or is there some cute grandmas and grandpas that are generous at birthdays or what?
No, I like babysit for $5 an hour, and then you know, and then I go and mow lawns and.
Moms, do you hear this guy? That's responsible. Comic books are teaching him to be responsible. That's good. I like that. He's mowing the neighbor's lawn and babysitting the kids. Don't leave any spare change around. He'll probably pilfer that while he's babysitting. But this kid is out there making an honest living at 13 so he can go get comic books. So I don't see any bad in comic books. We're going to end up wrapping up. I'm going to do a little quick sketch. I want to thank you, the audience, for right now, for coming up and sharing your thoughts, and I appreciate you coming. Thanks, bud. Okay, what we're going to do is, I'm sure you guys have seen all the drawings. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give away one of my classic secrets here. Toddy? Yes? How do you do those capes? You know what I mean? You got to have a style in this business. So, I always tell people, and it's no good if you copy this thing now, because I already beat you to it. So you're just going to make me look good if you continue it. When you're drawing, the toughest thing to do is to come up with a style, okay? If you can show somebody your artwork and they go, oh, that's Joe Smoley. Oh, that's Roger Potato Man. Oh, that's the best thing that can happen to you is that people recognize your stuff. I don't care if they hate my stuff. You know why? The worst thing in life is that they don't react to you. Now, when you're going to try and come up with a style, everybody should come up with one thing, at least, that they do better than anybody else, or at least different than anybody else. So if you're going to break into business, then work on doing the best eyeballs, work on doing the best hands, the best kneecaps. I don't care what it is, the best trees. I wouldn't take that one, but, whatever. But I like to draw capes, and I'm going to tell you how I draw capes here. If you take, the average guy draws a cape. Okay, this isn't going to be very good, guys, so give me a break. We're down to the wire here. Here's Super Dude, okay? San Diego Super Dude. Okay, now, most people when they did their capes with this guy did it. They did those little squiggles. Nah. You know how I do my capes? You guys ever made paper airplanes? I'm sure you all have. Throw one from the 30th floor. It's really cool. The air makes it go up. My capes are not cloth. My capes are paper, and they're paper airplanes. So that's why I've got spikes on everything. So what I'm doing in most places is just folding the cape. I'm pretending that there's 97 gallons of starch in it, and I'm just going to go fold, 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 and it sits there stiff as a board. So I draw the old Super Dude here. He's got a grin because he's going to get the bad guy. And he's got his cape here, and we even give him one of these little thingamajiggers like the big Spawn Meister. Okay, we got him here. When I draw that cape, a lot of times I just draw squiggles and then I connect them later. So I'll go, okay, I know that I got to come from the shoulder up in here a bit, and then I literally just go, and then I come in here with this one, and I come in here, and I go like this, and then I'll come up in here like this. It doesn't look like nothing, I guarantee it right now. But then what I have to do is go, Toddy, you better I put the pressure on myself. And I go, you're going to have to somehow make that come up here, and then this one is going to have to fold up here. We'll maybe make this black because that's on the inside here. So I'll go like this. This one here, I can connect up here. Since all of them are originating from a certain point, I can feather them all down this way like this. Make some go underneath others. You can go like this. And we can get this where you can make it look like it's twisting in and of itself. And then you just kind of fill in the gaps and make some black ones someplace else. If you're going to do one cutting over, then I like to put like a shadow in there so it looks like that it's actually above, flipping up and over on one. I'll usually make the inside ones black or something like that. Let's see if we tie this one here, 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 here. If I was to make this black and this black and this black and this black, we have, and I do it with a lot more detail and I take my time a little bit more, but there'd be a wrinkle here on his back. He is standing there and he's got a cape that's flowing all over the place. Is it real? No. Does it look cool? You betcha it does. So thanks for your time, and we're going to get out of here. Okay, what we're going to do here to end this up, hopefully to put some of the information I've given you into a more clearer picture, we're going to actually show you some of the stuff that we've done. We got a close-up on here. I write and I pencil and I ink my own comic book, so I do things a little bit different than a lot of people. What I usually do is like number a page from 1 to 22, because I do 22 pages of comic book. Write myself. I already know in my mind what the story is, so I don't really give myself a big detailed plot to myself. Give myself one sentence for each page that says the Killer Flash is having a good time, blah, blah, blah. And I know what that means in my mind's eye. If you're working with the writer, then you don't have to worry about it because they'll give you a full 3 or 4 pages and they'll really describe everything. If we go to like page 7 here, Page 7, the way that I want to lay it out is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels here. And what we're going to do is we're going to establish, first thing we want to do is establish where we're at. So right here, a lot of times when I'm doing little stick figures, we call these thumbnails, I just give myself a couple of notes so that I can, sometimes when I come back, I don't even know what I drew on there, and I just got to have something to clarify. This is going to be a down shot of a house. I could have made a straight on shot, but I figure we'll come into the house. It's nighttime. We'll come down. Here's mom holding the baby. Here's the baby's crib here, which is what these crossbar lines indicate to me, and I'll have a door behind her. She'll lay the baby down. This will be the baby. Here's the face here. Here's the eyes and the hair and the nose and the mouth. And here's mommy's hand laying her down in the crib here, and I'll put the crib bars back in here and some stuffed toys and stuff like that. She'll walk out of the room thinking about something. Here's the crib here. They'll be in the foreground, and she walks out. She'll be in the background, just to give an illusion of depth again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to the spawn, who is actually this woman's husband who died 5 years ago and has come back to life. And I'm going to make it so that these two poses right here look the same. So it's kind of like a little bit of a transition and symbolic thing. Now, once I've done these 5 panels here, and I know in my mind what I'm going to do, then it's a matter of fleshing them out, giving myself the detail, and then coming in there and inking it. Since we've only got a few more minutes here, I'm going to skip the roughs. I mean, the roughs are a little bit tighter than this, but here's the page that's 95% done. I still got, and about a half an hour still left on this. But this page right here will indicate everything that I put down here. Here's the down shot of the house. I've put in the writing and the word balloons, so we've got all that in there. Here's mom carrying the baby into the crib. I added some stuffed toys. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I always put a Felix the cat, and here's a little Cerebus here. So sometimes some of the quiet panels that don't really have a lot of action, you can have a little bit of fun with by adding things into the background and stuff like that. Mom lays the baby down right here, which is the shot of the little baby sleeping, and I'll put in some extra lines afterwards and dilly in and put the eyebrows on her and the eyelid and stuff, so she's completely detailed up here. Again, the Felix the cat in here, so that there's a continuity of one of the toys is still in the same crib with her. She's got a bottle. Mom leaves. This had to be black. As she leaves, here's the Cerebus toy, which again indicates it's still the same crib from here to here. And then we cut to that same shot. Notice I have the heads pretty much in the same position. And as she says a little prayer for her daughter to have a sweet dream, sweetheart, and we use that in conjunction here with this panel so that it almost seems like she's whispering it to her husband, who she doesn't know is alive right now. Again, I got some debris and some garbage back here, and we can put like friends' names or whatever. Frank Miller and Alan Moore are going to be doing some work on Spawn, so you can put people's names in it. And I mean, there's a lot of places to have fun with comic books, but the other thing that you also want to look at too is the way that you put in the blacks. And since this is nighttime scenes, the blacks really add a lot of weight to this page, and then I border it all up in black. And this page looks good enough right now in black and white, and so when we color, it's just going to add that much detail to it, and maybe we'll have a lighting effect coming from this door open up here, and this door is opened up here, and maybe a little bit here, and then he'll probably be mostly in dark. This window can be lit up. There's a lot of different mood things you can do. I'll probably put a tree up over here or something, but and that essentially is how we go from beginning to end. We write the script, we do the roughs, we come in here, we rough it out in blue pencil, we go get our ink pen, which is the teardrop ones, and we ink it all up, and we get the letters put on it. And after I erase this page and make it nice and clean, because there's when I rough in blue, I get a little bit of dirt on it, and I get a little bit of pencil smudges. So once I take the pencil and I clean it all up, the page looks a lot better for getting it all colored. But essentially, that's what a final page will look like once we finish the whole process. So good luck to you guys out there, and the best of luck to anybody that's trying to break into the business. Take care. You guys, yeah. There's my mom, there's my brother. Hey, we're going to entertain you hopefully for about another half an hour here. We're going to put a little video together, give a little bit of insight into creating a new character, and we're going to let the viewer out here see a little bit of the thinking that goes in when I'm creating a character, and more importantly, I've done 1,000 characters that I sit at home and I do them, and I just create them on my own. I maybe run it by the dog if they bark or not. So, but I want the help of the audience, and what we're going to do is from scratch. Unfortunately, whatever's done, I own it. So you can't come back and sue me later. But we're going to get you up to the podiums. We're going to run through it, and we're going to create a character. We'll decide after I stop talking whether it's going to be a good guy, bad guy, woman, female, male, tall, short, whatever. We'll get into that. Right now, as you guys know, we're doing Spawn comic books, and if you haven't gotten on, check your local retailer or comic book shop. The Spawn was created, here we go, we got them in the back here. Spawn was created literally over 10 years ago. Now, I should have brought some of those. I even came up with one the other day. It said Spawn in space, and he didn't have his cape, and he was on, like, flying through, and it was a horrible drawing. But I've got a 25-page story of the Spawn that I did when I was, going to high school and just starting in college. He's been sitting there, the Spawn, for, I think I created him around 1980, for 12 years. Now, in the 12 years since then, I've been in the comic book business, working for Marvel comic books and DC comic books, doing Spider-Man and Hulk and Batman and stuff. I never pulled him out of my suitcase, and I've got like another 50 of them. But he was a guy that I put a lot of time into. So when we finally left Marvel comic books and we formed Image Comic Books, the new company that's the hot guys right now, and we hope to stay that hot. I just went back and did all those characters that we created. And you know what? I know that you guys doodle on your pages, and you guys do the exact same thing that I did, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys got 20 characters, some of you guys out there, that you just go, oh, yeah, sit on them one day and draw the X-Men and Batman, Superman, and later on down the line pull out that character. Walt Simonson, if you ever saw a book called The Star Slammers, same thing. That was a science project, and this science project was to come up with something that was sci-fi, and he came up with characters and made it a comic book and goes, here's my science project. It's a sci-fi comic. And teacher gave him a good grade. But he sat on that for years and finally did the book for Marvel Epic called The Star Slammers. 15 years later, when his abilities were real fine and he'd honed them and stuff, and obviously it was a lot better thing. The Spawn right now has a power meter that I don't know. I mean, I'll explain issue number 4, but as his power goes down, he gets closer to death and the whole bit. The reason I did that is that right now, when you guys work for Marvel or DC or Fantagraphics or Dark Horse or Tundra, usually you do one character. When you do one character, and you get bored of them, you got to go to another character. Or you do what I did on Spider-Man, you bring in a lot of guest stars. I don't want to draw Spidey, I'm going to draw somebody else. But I created the Spawn in such a way that I could have my cake and eat it too. He can do anything or he can do nothing, and it doesn't make a difference. So for the most part, he's going to be pretty urban, kind of Batman, Daredevil type guy, but he can also spin planets on his finger if he needs to, although it drains a lot of energy. And the cool thing about that is that if I get tired of drawing Batman type stuff or dark urban stuff, I can go do a Superman thing or a Spider thing. You know what I'm saying? I've covered my rear. I don't got to quit drawing Spawn just to do something else with a different flavor. And who's to say I can't change the costume? I can change that even if it's only for 2 issues. We've got an issue coming up in issue 7 or something like that where you got to have that one at least once, guys. Where he straps on the big bazooka, and he's got all the guns and the belts and the magazines and stuff like that. That'd have to happen at least once. So he gets rid of the cape, and he sits there. And of course, I only do it for a couple issues, and then we'll get back to what we're doing. But those are just some of the things that I like to play with. I go, after 6 issues, do I want to keep drawing Spawn the same way? After I quit doing Spider-Man, to go back a bit, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. I quit doing Spider-Man and worked for Marvel comic books for 2 reasons. The first and biggest reason was I became a new father. My baby just turned 1 year old. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you know, I wish she was here. Little Cyan, hi, wherever you are. I wish she was here, but she's out at a wedding. I usually crate her with me wherever I go, just because if people won't stand in line, they want to hold the baby, and I get a bigger lineup anyway. Being a dad gave me a different perspective on some things and mellowed me out. And it's about, although if you talk to some of the people downstairs, not that much. And I just felt that it was time for us to change the system a little bit. Image Comic Books is my chance to change the system. And if the system gets changed even a little bit, and some of the rules get changed, and it makes it a little bit better for the 12-year-old kids coming up, then we've accomplished what we wanted. When we decided to come and do something new, I got the Spawn in my portfolio. It's been collecting dust for 12 years. Let's pull them out and let's blow them off. Now, I have to come up with the concept. At that point, he was shot in the future, and it wasn't quite what it is today. You know, I jazzed him up a little bit just to make it a 90s feel. The first thing that we had to do was get something that was going to be saleable. Now, I think you guys have noticed that out of all the new Image stuff, mine's probably the most, I think the oldest looking, the traditional. See, and that's why when people go, you didn't create Spawn 10 years ago. I created Spawn 10 years ago. 10 years ago, superheroes had, you know, shorts and a belt and a mask and a cape, right? I mean, Superman and Thor and Batman. I mean, those are the big boys. Where now the X-Men are very popular, and you got a lot of Schwarzenegger and Stallone and Rambo type looks. They don't have masks anymore. They don't have capes. They just got artillery and gadgets and stuff like that. There's my proof right there. My guy's outdated, you know. But in a weird kind of way, like clothing. It's been so long since somebody's created like somebody with a cape, it looks new. Wow, look at that. What a genius. He put a cape on somebody. Just that nobody's been doing it for 10 years. So we got the Spawn out there. We've got, if you guys have seen, the funny car out there. Take a look at it. There's 2 paint jobs, right? You know why there's 2 paint jobs? I want you to vote on which side you like the best. 2 paint jobs because I want you to look at that Spawn logo twice as hard, right? If you're going to be in the position where I'm at, where you got to try and sell stuff and be somewhat commercial, name recognition is everything. So if I can get you to look at my car twice as long, because you're going, the black side Spawn, or the white side Spawn, or the black side Spawn. I don't care, just as long as you go to bed and you're like, Spawn is fried to my brain, you know? Spawn, you know what I mean? Coca-Cola, it's just, I'm in your face. So. Some of the guys that hate me right now, there's the new symbol of the 90s. Get a close-up because that's going to be on the movie that's coming out, guys. And there's another one right there. The reason we do a symbol like that is I always thought it was cool that, you know, Superman and Batman, especially like the Batman movie. You remember when it first came out, they had the big emblem out there? And all it was the emblem and a date, and you went, Batman movie's coming. It didn't say that. It's just a Batman movie's coming out. And I go, we're going to get this out. It might take me 10 years, 20 years, but pretty soon my grandma's going to know, Spawn, that's the Spawn. So that's what that's about. That's the 90s symbol for Batman. He created a symbol in 1964. This is going to be the new one here. Besides having some glitchy stuff, we got to actually have a character and a name and stuff like that. I just figured, okay, I'm going to be pulling some stuff from my roommate, my ex-roommate, Al. So we got to give my guy a name. It might as well be Al, and his last name was Simmons, Al Simmons, right? So we've got a man here today, and I'd like to introduce you to the real Al Simmons, who's given me a lot of inspiration for my comic book. And Al, come on up here, bud. Let's see him. Sim, look at this. Look at this. We've got him convinced here. Look at this. As a matter of fact, after I told him that he was going to be named the Spawn, He was working in security guard. He quit his job and like goes, Todd, I want to sell your stuff. I mean, he's sucked into the Spawn right now. He's driving the Spawn car around and stuff like that. Al, what we're going to try and do here, if you want to see if you can get the people up to the podium here, we're gonna try and organize it. We're going to create a new character here, and we're going to put him probably in the Spawn comic book. So if you want to get them organized up there, we'll get away with the drawing and do the stuff that we initially started to do for the view over here. So first thing we're going to do is, you either got to have great heroes or you got to have great bad guys. Your good guys are only as good as the bad guys and vice versa. So do we want to come up with the hero or do we want to come up with the villain today?
Villain.
Let's see a show of hands here. Then we'll be able to say, good guy. I heard more voice than that. We're drawing a bad guy, and you want to know what? The bad guys are the coolest guys. The Violator right there, I love that guy. So I love monsters. Okay, we're gonna come up with the bad guy. That's good. That's because then I can use him in the Spawn a lot easier, and I could use another hero. The only other thing we'll do before we get started here is, do we want him to be male or female? Female. What? Dang it. Okay, female, you guys win. I don't draw the good babes like Jim Lee and Silvestri and Dave Stevens. We'll do it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I doubt that we're going to want like a heavy set because she's going to have to be quick and tough and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough out a pose. Let me ask you before I rough out the pose and we get you up here at the podium. Do we want her to be, the pose will depend on what kind of area we're going to go. Do we want her to be loaded down with gear, or do we want her to have powers, or do we want her to be quick, or do we want her to be simple, or what do you guys like?
Very maneuverable.
So the gear and stuff you guys feel slows somebody down. Okay. I'll put her into then just a cool vixen pose there, and if you guys want to get up to the podium there, then what we'll do is we'll get the details and we'll create this babe from scratch. Do we want to come up with the name after we're done? Maybe after we're done we see the visuals, that might be better. So okay, here we go.
I heard a good idea right here. Yeah, go ahead.
How
Yes,
about
sir.
another person who is brought back from the devil like Spawn was, who made a deal with the devil to come back to life?
And they cross paths.
Yeah.
In a weird kind of way, that's really what this Violator guy's about. He's made a pact with the devil or demon, whatever. I never really specify, but he's kind of already been down that path. So why don't we come up with something that's a little more earthbound? Because then
Something spacebound.
spacebound.
Yeah, alien intent or cult. You know, you said that before that you had ideas that with the power thing you could bring them out into galactic situations.
Yeah, he can go anywhere.
You know, instead of having something devil-bound or earthbound, maybe an avenue to take is extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial. Okay. Well, what we can do here is we can give her kind of an alien look, even though she might maybe be somewhat human. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys ever see Ghostbusters?
Sure. Yeah.
You know that lady that had the red eyeballs? Yeah. She was. I wouldn't want to meet her in a dark alley. She kicked my butt, right? I mean, so now I never knew whether she might have been a human that was turned into that or whatever. So let's give her. Okay, we'll come out here at the hand here. We'll just make this generic for now. Zit, zit.
You got an idea, Mr. Glassman?
Okay.
How about a lady scientist who accidentally drinks a potion that she was creating, or somebody else was creating, and they were studying insects, and they had this here liquid that was made from fleas.
Liquid fleas. Okay.
Yeah, and she accidentally
And she makes you scratch all the time.
It looks
Yeah.
like coffee, and she thinks it's a cup of coffee, and she drinks it. And
Okay. Here's what I can get out of that. Because we're not doing the comic book here. Here's what I can get out of that. I can get that if she has something to do with insects, then we can use either some of the powers or some of the looks of an insect. Now, if you guys really look at an insect book, if you guys are coming up with bad guys, the insects are the coolest. He kind of looks like a mutated insect right there, right? I love those. I mean, what do you think Alien look like? Aliens he's just like a distorted bug. I mean, essentially. So bugs, they work because they got like 9 legs and stuff. See, I always hated that aliens, which is why I think the Alien movie is so popular. I always hated that in comic books and a lot of other places, when you go to like the planet Nanu or something, that everybody had like 2 arms and 2 legs. No way. If I'm going to go and travel like 20,000 light years, I don't want to get off and see somebody who looks like my dad with a beer belly, you know? I want like, wow, that looks like the tree in my backyard with fangs, you know? Because I've never seen a walking tree, so I want to see something that's cool to look at. And you know what? You know what's the coolest thing about designing monsters? You never draw a wrong monster. You know why? You don't tell me where those warts go. What, you seen that guy before? Right? That's why I draw a lot of money. You can't tell me those fangs are wrong. What, you seen this guy? No, there's no wrong fangs, arms, knuckles, no way. So we'll give her maybe a little bit of an insect look, and we'll just have to figure out what that's going to be. So, okay, go ahead.
I like it when like a supervillain has his hands really tight and there's like something glowing around the hands.
Oh, I like this bunny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something similar to that.
Okay, now she's gonna be the bad babe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to worry about her feet a little bit later or something. She's gonna be the bad babe here, so we got to come up with. And you guys want her to be simple? Okay. Okay. We'll color. We'll do a little bit of coloring when we're done here, but you know, black is pretty hot, so I don't know whether you guys want her to be open, be black, be what you guys really want out of her. Do we want to make her look wild? And the way to make them look wild is either you give them some strapping, or you give them some wiggy wild hairdo. Do you want the hair to just be on one side? She's half bald. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I like to try and think about what hasn't been done before. So. There's no reason why she has to be symmetrical. If you go see the car, you'll see that there's 2 paint jobs on it. You don't have to paint a car perfect. What do you guys see? Do you guys see a headgear? Do you guys see wild hair? Do you see hair coming out of headgear? You see her kind of bald with the horn? I mean, if she's going to be...
horns.
Pardon me?
Set of ram's horns.
Set of ram's horns? We can do it. We can do it. Okay. Okay, we're going to give her some ram horns. Now, you can either go ram horns up or ram horns down. You know what? I think they look cooler going down. And even though they're not going to poke anything, I think they just look cool. So we'll give her some coming down here and make them a little bit mean here. So we'll come and we'll give them a little tuck in the corner here. Okay. And this one is going to come here.
Todd, if we were to stick to the insect theme also, maybe like a praying mantis really seems to exhibit fear. Maybe on the inside of the elbow joints have little, barbs. Maybe behind the knees also barbs. You know how the praying mantis has the barbs and they crush the prey in there?
Yeah.
That could be something like it.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so we'll give her the horns here, and then probably. Do we give her masking? Do we give her not masking, but even makeup stuff on her face? You want to give her a mark on her face? Sometimes the markings look pretty cool.
Yeah, or either that, or maybe even like have her do makeup so she could change it, so it's not always the same.
Okay. So we'll give her.
Especially for an insect.
Okay, we'll give her. Well, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut her face in half. And not make it symmetrical. So, and we'll put it here. And then, as a matter of fact, I wonder if I should make this mark black just for no reason but to make it black here. So let me just do this, and then I'll show you what we've got, and we can go from there. If we actually, I'll leave some of it open. And we can go from there.
Todd, to stick with the storyline, Spawn was supposedly made through the pact with the devil. Why do you have this same character, another pact with the devil, but this time the devil's sending her back to make Spawn use up all his powers?
You know, except for if you read number 4, the devil doesn't want him to use up all his powers, because he's down there for a reason, and him using up his powers doesn't really. He gave him the power, so he doesn't want him to burn it. You know, he wants him actually to be conservative with it, but basically he wants him to be a bad guy, and he wants him to go after like bullies, and he wants him to spread evil more than anything else, and that's what his whole gig is right there. Let's make these a little.
If she's gonna be like an insect, then we should like give her like segments, I guess.
Get rid of what?
A segmented lip, sort of.
Segmented lips. Okay,
No,
I can do.
look.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. On this small drawing, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So, is there a spot on her that we could do some segmenting on
Like
her?
in her abdomen area.
Okay, we'll come in there with a segmented abdomen. There we go. Abdomen. Yeah. Now, do you guys actually look at, like, when you see, like, battle armor on people, do you guys, now, tell me, honestly, do you guys actually go, how can he raise his arm? I just want to know, because when I'm creating characters, I want to know whether, like, I create stuff that, like, bugs you guys. Okay, we'll give her that, and we even make it a little metallic-y here, so we'll give it a little bit of a shine to it. So the guy hanging around here, Chance Wolf, who did the logo, I might even, maybe once we get Chance's here today, maybe what we'll do is when we're going to get to the name, I'll get Chance up here, and he can whip out a logo for us too, so we've got like a logo to go with her. So here's what we got, and we gotta go from here. We're gonna go subtle. We got segmented abdomen. We got the horn. And we've got the marking on her face. We can make we'll decide later in the color whether we want the rest of her face to be flesh or white or green or purple or whatever else. I'm gonna give her blank eyes, and the reason I want to give her blank eyes, my thought process behind it is, blank eyes look meaner and are scarier than when you can actually see pupils. That's why skulls are so intimidating. So I'm gonna give her a blank eye on both sides. For now, I'm not even gonna give her an eyebrow, because then her eyes will look a little bit meaner if I curve up her eyelashes just a bit. But I say we give her like blank staring eyeballs here. So now, next thing we got to do is we got to come up with something that she's going to be somewhat formidable for. She's going to take on the Spawn. We're going to go with the bug motif still. So let's throw a little bit of bug stuff now. I'm just going to run it out here, and we're going to let the audience basically make an arbitrary guess. Individuals in the audience make the arbitrary guess, and we're going to live with it. Everybody here today is going to live with it. Bugs have, little pinchers on them. Okay, some of them have them on the sides of their heads. Basically, that's what that is. Some of them have them, on their arms and whatever else. I say that we got to put some kind of pinchers on her now. Do you want me to put the pinchers on her legs, like coming out from her legs, or do you want me to put them on her like forearms so she can almost use them as a defensive thing or as a weapon?
On her arms.
Okay, now how about, you want to see those spikes? We'll make them kind of like little spikes. Do you want to see them coming downwards so they look like a Batman type thing? Or do you think if we curve them the opposite of Batman, they're like this, that when she's punching and stuff, she's got like some points or something like that?
Well, I think if they were pointing up, they'd be more aggressive. So you could be like jabbing and sticking him or something.
Okay, and then they're not going to be able to maybe grab her wrist or something like that.
Right.
So okay, so we've got it there. We've got one down. Let's give her the pinchers. Now, let's make it, since she is going to be a bit of a insect looking. Let's give it segmented ones, and maybe what we'll do is give her 3. Seems to be a good number. It's good for old bats. It's good for us. So we'll give her 1, 2, 3. Now, I can always modify these things and make them a little more slicker once I get down to actually drawing her in the comic book. So these, again, will be just guidelines for me to do what I've got to do here. So we got 1 on that side, and we got to come here, and we're going to go 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. And those will extend almost like a little bit of clouds here. So, okay, we'll come up in here, and we'll segment it a bit. Perfect. Okay, now, do we want to give her anything, since she's got the spikes there, we want to keep her clean, do we want to give her anything under her arms? Do you want to see anything underneath her arms?
If it's something underneath her arms, I don't think she'd really be related to the insect world. It's either that or it's got to be something really subtle.
Okay. Well, what do you see that I could put? How about like on her hand? What could I put on her hand? You see like a claw?
The webbing has been used.
Right.
The claws have been used.
Right.
The only thing you can go with maybe is just pretty fingernails.
Pretty fingernails? So she won't have any gloves or anything? We'll just make it barehanded?
No, she's got to be barehanded.
Okay, we'll give her pretty fingers. You got it. Pretty fingers. We're getting there. Now I'm using a pretty thick felt tip marker, which I usually use something that's about the size of a hair. So if we don't have quite the prettiness that we're looking for here, then please bear with me. Okay, we're going to give her that now. So obviously, if she's not wearing gloves, then we got to have something else that's maybe protecting part of her hand. So maybe I'll give her a Michael Jackson glove. You know, the ones cropped off at the knuckles? That's what we'll do. We'll give her something at the knuckle. So, And we can make the fingernails a little bit longer than usual because she's going to be kind of a bad babe. So they let theirs go a little bit longer. Although Fu Manchu is the guy who makes his go the longest. So, and we come up with the thumb here. Perfect. And here, and we'll give it a Michael Jackson. Okay, just so she's got something on the hand. Because in that way, we can always say that if those pinchers on her arms might be attached to a glove thing that comes running up and down, and maybe we strap it up on her arm. So now why don't we even do that? Because in that way, we got the option of never ever taking it off, or we can say, yeah, it's strapped on. And if it's going to be strapped on, then it can be taken off. So she's got the option of being human if we ever want to make her human down the line. So we'll come in here, give her a bit of a sharp, pointy elbow so that they don't want to come up and get her. Okay. And we'll come up in here. And we'll do the same over here. Okay, now, we need something on her legs.
Oh, I was thinking something like a tail, maybe, like plated, like the abdomen there.
Coming on her rear?
Yeah.
How about, we originally wanted to keep her simple. So how about if we use kind of a tail has almost like a belt ornament?
Sounds good.
You know, then that way she can like pull it off if she needs it and use it like a tail or a whip or something like that.
Yeah.
But then she's not being encumbered by it kind of being on her running between her legs and tripping and stuff like that. So since we've drawn the abdomen muscles already, we'll make this thing at a slant. So the cool thing about doing like a whip thing, as I always do, is it's always running all over the place. So we'll make it running back behind her here and then cut up in here. Do we want spikes at the end of that?
Yeah.
Should we put spikes? We'll put a spike at the end of that. Okay.
It could even be retractable too. You can pull it out.
Okay. That, you know, the naysayers of comic books always go, the women, they make them too well endowed, you know? It's like, women aren't like that. And you know what? They're right. Women don't really got big chests. But you know what? The average guy hasn't got a set of lungs on him like Superman does either. So we don't seem to have any problem with the drawing overdeveloped. I mean, look at me. I'm in good shape. But, I mean, that's like anorexic compared to Soup's. And we don't seem to have a problem overdeveloping the men. But as soon as you do an overdeveloped woman, it's like, that's sexist. Nah, wait, that's not sexist. That's consistent. So. Okay, we give it a whip. Okay, so we want something sexy. So how about, now, right now, you know what's sexy is a French cut. But we don't want to expose that much. So why don't we give her the illusion of a French cut by coming up here and exposing this part of the flesh right up in here. Right here, loser, and right up in here. This, when we color this real quick, will be flesh. So we'll make that, and then I wonder if we want to go, let's run that down her leg maybe a bit. Like, let's give her at least 2 flesh bubbles. As a matter of fact, we'll make them into points, so that looks a little more menacing. I might even change the shape of those flesh cuts to be more points or something like that. That might be a little more menacing. Again, as long as I know that you guys want sex, we can redefine it. Across her chest, do you want to see a plate across her chest? Do you want to see steel across her chest? You want to see a gun slung over there? Or do you want, like, on one side, let's say on one side, we don't have to make it all even. Do you want to see like a shoulder pad, or what do you see? What do you see? Look at them on there. What do you see for like the chest area there? Or a big S?
Kind of changed a little bit. Don't keep it the same on both sides like you're saying.
Okay. So how about if we come then, we cut her armor or dress down her throat on one side and cut it up here like this. Okay, this we can either make it fleshy, this we can make it metallic, high gear, and then we've got this coming up here. Again, I can always do some designy cut stuff, like go like this and cut it across her or something, so she looks a little more racy or something like that. Let's give her a little bit of protection on this shoulder. We'll come this way right here. Okay, we'll give her a bit of a shoulder pad, just small enough so it looks kind of like an armadillo that kind of looks like a little bit of a big bug if you mush them on the road. So, okay. What about the legs? Oh, we got a female, beautiful female babe. I patterned it after her. You give us the insight from a female's point of view. What do we always do wrong, and what should we do right this time?
She needs high boots, like up to her thigh, with spikes on the end.
Okay, at the top of her boots, you're right, that's cool. At the top of her boots, do we want to like do we want it to like, you've seen like Thor, some of those guys where it flares out to a point, and then do you want to put a little symbol like right there or something like that?
Sure.
A little fang thing. Okay, let's do a point. As a matter of fact, let's tie the boots into these markings that I gave right here for the flesh. So we'll give her the high, sexy booties.
And also her spikes can shoot out venom or something, some kind of poison.
Some kind of poison? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now she will have high heels. Let's make a note for ourselves. High heels, but because I'm not going to be able to get that on this drawing because I wanted to make this big so that we could see it out there. We'll add that later. So we'll come in here. Do you want those boots to be chrome, or do you want those boots to be clothy? Do you see them being like one big long piece that's fitting tight, loose? You know what I'm saying?
Like a velvet piece.
Like a tight velvet piece?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Here we go. Okay, we got the booties. Okay, actually, we're going to come up. You know what? By the time this is done, this is what I usually do. After I design a character real quick, I always like overdo everything the second time around. So I know I'm going to pull the points probably up to her crotch, you know, by the time I'm done. So I'll actually pull this one up here so it will play more into this one up in here. And we'll come in here like this. Okay, we got the boots. Do you see anything else on her legs, or is the boots good enough?
You could give it her strap on her thigh, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, you put spikes on that strap around her thigh, and she can pull a knife or something, a dagger out of there.
Okay. We'll put one strap just on one side, right here, and we'll give her the tool of doom. Okay, let's work on the head right now. Okay? We got the horns and we got this cool marking on her face. You think she look meaner right now if we just make her bald? Because bald is mean, you know what I mean? Sinead O'Connor, you know, she's intense. So, and even like Grace Remember Grace Kelly? Or who? Not Grace Kelly.
Grace Jones.
Grace Kelly. Sorry. Grace Jones. Yeah, Grace Kelly. Actually, there's a movie I haven't seen yet, Aliens 3. She looks pretty tough with that shaved heads in some of the ads that I've seen. You know, Sigourney Weaver, she looks like she's tough, so this would be cool. Okay, we got that. Now, what else we got to do to finish this up? We want to put anything, do you want to add any more like on her arms or around her chest area up in here? You want to, see the segmented abdomen, do you want to like carry that motif into her chest?
No.
So, you don't want to see it? You want to see like nice voluptuous curves, or do you want to see metallic, or what would you like? Whenever we do women characters and give them their own comic book, you guys never buy it. I don't know, I don't understand it. So, okay, we'll give her some coives. Nice, tight neck bone, we'll make it cool here. Okay, come up in here. I might even, why don't we give her a little bit of hair, just almost like a ponytail, just right in the back, just to give her a little bit of a wispy, wiggy, ugly look here. We got this, got the same hands. It's going to be normal, or otherwise it's called normal, and give her the fist with the, we'll give her the, finish up her arms right here. Now, you know what? Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and Wills, they can draw like these things 10 times faster and 10 times better than I can. Coming up in here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we got pretty much, I can always add or subtract once I get it home and we take a look. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of color in before we call it a day and we let you guys get out of here. So, what kind of color we want for her face? White. Do you want to keep that white? Like a Joker? Why don't we keep her all white then? If we're going to go white, why don't we keep her all white? What about her hair? Do you want to give her a bit of a tint of color on her hair? Purple. That's a cool color. Let's do it. Give her a little bit of purple. We'll just give her a little bit of highlight here. Perfect. Okay. And she's going to have purple hair. Then let's give her some purple boots. Now this is just, again, just to get some color coordinations here. Well, I'm coloring some of this, and we make some color. We got to give her a name, boys and girls. How about Lotus? Like Lotus, you know what Lotus is in the computer business? It makes real quick judgments, and it's kind of an accounting thing, and it does things quick. And or Locus or something like that. Locus? Can you guys live with that? Yeah. Lotus or Locus? Lotus it will be. No, we got it. We're there. Lotus. Okay, we're gonna be there. Okay. We're gonna keep her flesh up, or I mean not flesh, but her white fleshy stuff there. What color for the up top? We got purple. We can either do something that's like bluish, or we can do something like the Los Angeles Lakers, come in with the yellow, or what do you guys see? Green? Green, okay, I heard a green. I can live with green because green is like a bug. So, okay, let's do a green. Let's get some purple. And, is it purple? Okay, let's get some green in there. We'll make it a bright green. I don't know if I'm going to pick the right green right off the bat here, but let's give her, we'll make this green up in here. And we'll make this, her arms green and purple. Oh yeah, we love those colors. We'll make this green. I see a little bit of design going up her belly here too. So we'll make this green here. We'll make the abdomen a bit green. And we'll make this stripe on her shoulder green here, right here, okay? We need another color. We need another trim color.
Black.
No, we like black. You're right. We can work black in. So, okay, let's get a black here. Give her a heavy shadow here on the bosoms. Give her a heavy shadow here on the bosoms. Shadow here. And we'll come up with a bit of design running up her belly here, because then that way that'll frame the abdomen that we've got on her, and I can work out some of the kinks. I'll probably make this a little bit shiny on her chest right in here. Give this a little bit of a highlight in here. And we have And there. Now I'll make that. That'll be real subtle when we do it. So the yellow, don't you worry about that. So there we go. We got Chance out here. Chance, can you give me? Is Chance Wolf in the audience here, please? Come on up here, Chance. I made it down where it was going to be a little bit awkward for you. But give us something wild. Give us something wispy, and I'm going to finish up this chain here.
Okay, just one more. You guys want Chance doing that. Chance is the guy who does Chance does all the separation you see on his shirt. Yeah.
Okay. The Lotus.
It just isn't working.
It's working. We love it. As a matter of fact, you're on camera, and everybody's seeing the screw-ups.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. And we'll give it a quick. Look at that. Even give it a quick highlight right here, just to make you look great.
Oh, you get a chance to do anything with it.
Well, get it. Here's the purple.
Is that purple? I was gonna drop a drop shadow on the other side.
Good. Do it.
Okay. Let me hike that out real
Okay, you ready? Let me give you 10, and then we're living with this one. We're taking this home, and we're calling it a night. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Okay,
4, 3, 2, 1. We have Lotus. Okay, here we go. Okay, she will be appearing. She will be appearing in one of the future spawns. We're going to get a little mini comic book out on her. I'd like to thank Al for the soul and inspiration of the spawn. Thank you, Al. I'd like to thank Chancey for working out and doing a great. As a matter of fact, we'll get a chance to do a great logo, finished logo. But more importantly than that, you guys, when you go home, when you see that character, this character is dedicated to all you guys here. And we'll make sure we get it in there and we recognize you guys when we design them, that you guys helped along in the process. Thanks for coming. Hope you guys got a little bit of insight, and thanks.